It's your professional sarcastic man and seeker of attention, Ozchris, here with the review of the first two episodes of SSSS.Gridman and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind. So both of these anime series have released recently, finally in regards to JoJo. So we'll start off with Gridman. Gridman is a anime adaptation of the original tokusatsu series Gridman the Hyper Agent, and is being produced by Gridman's original production company, Subaraya Productions, who are more commonly known for the Ultraman series, and Studio Trigger. So the main plot of Gridman, I'm not going to say the full thing, Gridman is much easier. So the main plot of Gridman is that high school student Yuta Hibiki wakes up and he has amnesia. He can't remember anything, but the only thing he knows is that a voice is calling for him, a voice that turns out to be Hyper Agent Gridman, who tells him that they have a mission to fulfill. And the two team up together to defend the city from various kaiju that are being summoned to destroy it or destroy select people. So the first episode, it's not a bad episode. It's an okay episode. The first half mainly focuses on introducing the main three characters, the main three protagonists. So you have Yuta, as I mentioned before, amnesiac, high school student, teams up with Gridman. Just instinctually, he knows that he can trust Gridman and works with him. Then you have Rika Takarada, who is the one who found Yuta collapsed. She, from what we've seen, she's very, she's very straightforward with her approach, particularly with Yuta. Then you have Utsumi, who is his friend, and he probably represents me, because he's a tokusatsu fan, as he makes several references to Ultraman. Coincidentally, he makes references to the series that Gridman is being produced by. First episode was okay. Wasn't particularly bad. It did take a while for it to build up to the plot, as it uses that first 10 to 12 minutes to just introduce the characters, and then the rest going straight into the plot. The second episode was much better in my opinion, and it deals with it deals with collateral damage. That is the main theme of the second episode, as they find out that the school that was supposedly destroyed when a kaiju was attacked is seemingly repaired, but several students have gone missing, and no one at the school, or no one anywhere, knows who they are, except for the parents, who reveal that all of them had died previously, despite the fact they were all shown alive and well in the first episode. So the quote-unquote named Gridman Alliance, of our three heroes, decide to investigate this, as they feel it's their duty, as they were kind of partially responsible for this, and at least with Rika, she doesn't want more friends to disappear, so out of duty she helps them as well. And we're introduced to Samurai Caliber, who was also shown in the first episode, but he's properly introduced in this episode. He's a kind of almost lanky. He walks very slouched. He carries 4 katanas on his back. Comedically, he doesn't realize he always has them. It's always a hindrance to him as he tries to walk through a door, and he gets immediately bounced back, because how he has the katanas positioned on his back does not allow for easy entry. And one of the other characters, Akane Shinjo, who was also introduced in the first episode, we learn a bit more about her. I won't spoil it, but she is more than meets the eye. There is something very suspicious about her. That's all I'll say without spoiling the second episode. Then we get a kind of a proper introduction to Gridman. In the first episode, he had a kind of a prototype state, and in this time, he has an optimized form which looks more like the Gridman from the the tokusatsu series, kind of referred to as optimized Gridman, as Samurai Caliber helps him. So overall, it's not pretty bad. I haven't watched the Gridman tokusatsu, so I kind of went in blind. I know what Gridman is, but I've never watched that series. So I went in blind with the anime. I'm liking what I've seen. It's not a bad series, but we'll see how it goes. It's only the first 2 episodes. Still very early on in this series. Not sure how long it'll go, but we'll see. So now on to JoJo, my ever-loving favourite series, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Finally, part 5 has got an anime. After so long, it finally got its anime. So with this series, we're on to Naples. We're on to Italy now, as we follow the new JoJo of this series, Giovanna, who is the son of Dio Brando, and he is being investigated by Jotaro and Koichi. Koichi is sent there to determine what kind of person he is. He is Dio's son. There's the possibility he could be as evil as him. And in this first episode, we're just seemingly introduced to who Giorno is, his personality, whatever. He comes off as a stoic, good person, which technically he is, but he knows what the environment is like, where he lives, to a point where he has to commit several crimes, almost terrible acts, but for him it's to the greater good. And into the second episode, this is more fleshed out a bit. It starts off with a flashback to Giorno's childhood, living in Naples with his stepfather who was abusive, and then he is saved by a gangster that he saved. He saved his life, and then he looks up to as a role model, and this helps establish his reasoning for deciding to join the mafia, join Bruno's gang, who is also introduced at the end of the first episode and throughout all of the second episode. Their fight between each other. What I'll say, while I'm not saying part 3 and part 4's Stan's fights weren't bad. Part 5, having read the manga, the Stan fights were much more interesting in that part in Vento Aureo. So it was definitely great to see Giorno and Bruno's fight in the second episode. Animation, the new animation they're using, I don't particularly have a problem with that animation. I do like it. You know, sometimes they cut back a little, like when the characters are slightly far off, they don't have a face at all. Especially when they're talking, it's just a bland face talking. It's okay. Although for some reason Koichi seems smaller than usual. Like in this art style, I know he's supposed to be short, but for some reason in this art style, he seems shorter. He seems slightly slimmer. But that's it. That's it for those. So, Gridman has potential. Had okayish to good start. JoJo, definitely a good start. I'll definitely be continuing both of those series. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Fighting goal!